to the 5-Star Dynasty Podcast. Can you dig it, Sucka?
Booker T reference. I love it.
Yeah, we gotta do it. We're obviously a little late in the Diggs news. Everybody's already like, yeah, we know Diggs got traded. We know. We recorded 2 episodes and he got traded like the next day. So we had a little bit of a break. We had a lapse of stuff. Our schedules mixed, and that was on my end, where we couldn't, get together before then. But in the future we'll release shorts for that kind of stuff. Regardless, I am Tomcat. This is Piff. How you doing?
I'm wonderful tonight. I can't wait to get into this.
Absolutely. I
had a lot of ramifications to this trade.
Yeah. I had a lot of people messaging me asking me why neither podcast mentioned it, especially the second one. And I was like trying to explain, like, we try to do block episodes, so we try to make it, but when there's news coming out, it happens. But we'll be on shorts and whatnot in the future.
Yeah, we're all linked up now, so we should be no problem. That coffee's gonna be really good to try and get a sponsorship for it every episode.
I decided to kill it rather than oh man, I said the wrong word. Dang it! 2 minutes in and we're already off the algorithm because I said the K word. No, I just wanted to make sure I finished it right away rather than sipping off the entire episode, but needed it. Long day. We'll get right into the first one, which is obvious. Diggs got traded for nothing. Well,
I wouldn't say nothing. It's a second-round pick next year. I mean, second-round pick for a 30-year-old wide receiver. I mean...
Oh, you mean like Davante Adams?
Yeah, like Davante Adams.
He went for around the same or maybe less than Chase Claypool went for.
No. Claypool went for like a third, didn't he?
No, I think he went for a second, buddy.
That's awful.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he went for a second. Let me do. I'm actually.
But I mean, I
check that right now.
It makes sense for them, both teams. I think Diggs needed to get out of there for sure. I don't know if I would have traded him in the AFC because you're probably gonna have to see him again. But I mean, I like the move obviously for CJ Stroud. He was asleep when he got traded when they traded for Diggs. So
he was a second-round pick.
Yeah, that's rough. Now the guy's barely anything. Was he in Miami?
It's
probably
crazy how bad that. Yeah, what the Steelers?
But for Stroud, yeah, this is great for Stroud.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Stroud. Sorry, guys, I really wanted to know something. It's kind of.
I like it for all the offensive weapons really on the team because it's just going to draw attention away from everybody else and make them more open than they already were last year. So, yeah, I like it for Collins. I like it for Dell. I like it for even Dalton Schultz. I mean, all probably going to lose some targets, but they might, get more.
You don't think they're going to have bad numbers?
Productive targets,
Mm-hmm. If only they had bad numbers or something, like all the wide receivers could get a beat.
They signed Mixon too, so I mean that's he can catch the ball. He's a very underrated catcher of the ball.
Yeah, he's definitely a good receiver, catcher of the ball, and for sure. No, I agree, and the one I'm the most excited for is obviously CJ Stroud. Like, whenever there's a team that gets way too many weapons, you're always going to worry about which weapons can sustain. The more realistic situation is there's probably going to be a one, and then the other two are going to rotate games where sometimes one's good, sometimes the other's good, sometimes neither's good. But the one, whoever it is probably going to be good. Like, Caleb's going to find that one when he goes to the Bears. I don't know if it's going to be Keenan. I don't know if it's going to be DJ. But I don't know if there's a world where he's going to get both of them. Now, when I really start to worry is when you add if they really do add a Rome or any of them. If they add more pass catchers, I'm gonna be frustrated.
I feel like they're not going to. I feel like it's a defensive pick.
I hope so.
Or they trade back if they don't.
I would like to see them trade back.
Somebody trades up.
Gain as much. Listen, they have 2 first-round picks. If they imagine if they pick with one and they trade back with the other, they get as much as they can out of the pick. One of the picks wasn't even theirs.
Well, I mean, when we do a NFL mock, we can go through that.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that next week.
Trades and whatever. So
next week we'll do that. We'll do an actual NFL draft. I know we're a fantasy show. Sorry, guys. We're a fantasy show, but at the same time, we definitely want to see how that would go.
And then, hey, maybe even do a mock draft off of that mock, like a fantasy mock.
Absolutely. I think this is really good. I'm not as low on Diggs as you are. You tend to be a little lower on Diggs.
It's just because we've progressively seen him get worse every year.
No, I don't think that's what happened. I think the first half of the year he was good, and then I think they brought in that offensive coordinator. That just by the end of the year, he wasn't game planning Stephon Diggs in. He was just like, he doesn't care who he gets or how much he gets. He just like wants to. I mean, rightfully so. It's the NFL. They don't care about fantasy. They want to get the wins. They want a lot with him. But there was a lot of rumors that Diggs did not get along with him and that Diggs didn't like him because he wasn't like, he was just scheming everything. Like he liked to use Diggs as a decoy sometimes because he just knew people would. Yeah, which makes sense. But when you're a wide receiver and you're a star and you're trying to continue to be a star, I don't know.
Not really good for you. But I mean, obviously he's the issue because it's Minnesota, now Buffalo.
I don't think he was the issue in Minnesota. I think he just wasn't the one and they wanted a new guy. And they drafted their one. Remember, Thielen used to be really good. People can talk bad about him.
That's what I think they might do this year. Whatever the best wide receiver that falls to them, they'll take him.
Mm-hmm. This has been bothering me, so I'm gonna.
But yeah, right now it's what Khalil Shakir in Buffalo and who? Nobody. They signed. I think they signed somebody, but nothing. Nobody of Curtis Samuel. That's who they signed. So it's Curtis Samuel and Khalil Shakir.
Okay, so essentially, Chase Claypool was basically traded for, and I had just a feeling about this, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm never on my phone at the beginning of an episode like this. I had to find out. It turns out he was picked number 32 because the Dolphins had a pick taken away. So technically, even though he's a first pick of the second round, the pick that the Steelers got from Chicago would have been basically a first round pick for Chase Claypool.
That's crazy.
And they picked Joey Porter Jr. Oof, they missed Sam Laporta by 2 picks. They already have Freiermuth. But yeah, I had to check that. I'm done now. I knew it was something like that. I knew it was like some crazy thing where they traded a second, but it's actually a first because the Dolphins didn't have a pick. So it was it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm big on Diggs. I want to believe. Sometimes when you have a certain player, you believe a certain circumstance. I remember my first year of fantasy was the 1 year that DeAndre Hopkins did not do that well, and it was with Brock Osweiler, and he was like a mid wide receiver 2 when he was drafted to be a wide receiver 1, and my internet's being weird tonight, guys. So if I pop out or something, then my bad. I stopped talking because I popped out for a second, then I popped back in. Usually it's fine. It's just I'm not giving up on Diggs until this year. This is my make or break season. If he goes in there with Stroud and he's even a wide receiver 10 or 11 or 12, I'm still happy with him because he's not, going as high as he goes.
I can't. I can't see him not doing well.
Yeah.
I don't like him because he's old. That's strictly the reason I don't like. He's not good. I just don't think he's, on the road to number one. Like he's gonna be their number one, but he's like on the downturn of his career. So in Dynasty, I don't really want him.
I get that. Of course he's worse now than he was, but I
think he's gonna have a great year with CJ Stroud. They're gonna feed him. They traded for him. They want him for a reason. They're not just gonna. They didn't trade for him and not want to use him. They're gonna. Yeah. They have a plan.
They have a plan. And my thing is definitely that I'm just confident in him. I think 1 year never makes me write somebody off. So, once it comes down to the fact that he's got this year, and then if he does bad, then I'm off. Then I'm like, okay, I was dumb. I was wrong. He is washed now. I don't think last year was him being washed. I think last year was him being used more as a decoy than as an actual full player. He wasn't getting enough targets. But that's just what I think.
He's gonna do the same thing again. He's gonna wear out his welcome. And that's going to be it. He's going to be done. That's going to be the end of his career. This is his last stop.
Yeah, I agree. But I think there's a chance he does well enough where they sign him to like a 2-year deal where they can get out the second year.
So I'm pretty sure the Bills are paying quite a bit of whatever he's owed.
That's what I'm saying. And then if he does well enough, they might pay him for a year or two to see how much juice they can get out of the squeeze. But I'm confident in him, and that'll wrap up that star and going on our second star, which is just we're staying on the star logo. We're saying, not the Cowboys, but the the star for the cow eye, or whatever the hell their logo is. What does this do for Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Dalton Schultz? These are 3 guys that we in previous episodes have talked about. All 3 would have value, and that was before the Stephon Diggs trade.
Well, I think that they're all still going to have decent value. I mean, Diggs is there. He's going to eat targets, but it's also going to open them up for bigger plays. So you might see, instead of a regression in touchdowns for Tank Dell, you might see more, and same with Nico.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where there is a world where, listen, if CJ Stroud is that guy and he's like Mahomes level, can you imagine put it this way. Imagine if Mahomes, remember those years he had Kelsey and Hill together. Imagine if instead of that, he had a third guy as well. That's CJ Stroud has the ability of having a very solid tight end in Dalton Schultz, and then 3 superstar to mid superstar level wide receivers. They're all different body types. They're all different styles of play. There's a world where they just explode. But at the same time, can he support that many targets? Is it going to be wondering which week you should start which guy? Because we were talking about Nico. Just one more thing. We were talking about Nico and Tank in the context of them being one of them being a wide receiver 1, or both of them being a wide receiver 1. Because remember we talked that one pod about Kirk Cousins did it with Diggs and Thielen before. He did it with there's a couple other times the other quarterbacks have had 2 top 10. So
yeah, I don't know. It kind of drives a wrench to what we were thinking before. I mean, I don't see them being, number 1 wide receivers.
I agree.
Maybe both in the top 20, top 24, but I don't know about top 10 now. You might, yeah. They're going to be solid wide receiver 2s, is what I'll say.
I agree. There's a world where, 1 week one of them explodes, the next week the other one explodes. I think the only consistent is going to be Diggs. I really do. I think he's the only one that's going to demand targets. I think the other guys will get targets. I think the other guys will get open. I think they will make plays. I think they're capable wide receivers. I really like Nico this year, before the Diggs trade, because it's a contract year for him, I'm pretty sure. Hey. And I'm pretty sure it's a contract year. So it's like one of those things where lost me. I think he's going to go off, but then if now Diggs is there, how much can he go off?
Yeah, you're right. It's gonna be tough sledding for some of these guys, but I mean, the real winner is CJ Stroud, like you said. So
Absolutely. It's tough. I had a couple startups we had where I was going through and getting Schultz for a decent amount of him. He's 27. He's young enough where I was like, all right, I'll squeeze a couple years out of this. I only go year to year, maybe like 2 years for a tight end tops.
he might be the guy that gets hurt on this.
Yeah, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, because he's that intermediate guy for them, so it's going to be tough.
Well, and he's the intermediate guy that has had a crazy season before, like with Dak. He had that crazy good season, and you were hoping that he was going to sign with Dallas and keep doing that. And they were like, nah. But
him on the clock.
I mean,
nope.
I'd say I don't know if there's anything else here. I know it's a little shorter for 2 stars, but I mean they wrapped them together the same so nicely because it's just
this will work out.
I'm happy, and like you said, Mixon's a good receiver as well. The main winner is going to be CJ Stroud. You're going to have headaches all around. I do think Mixon's going to have a good year.
I do too. I mean, if Devin Singletary had a decent year with what he got, I can't imagine Joe Mixon does any worse than that.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody hates Singletary, but he's a solid running back.
He's a solid running back. And they can hate on him all they want, but he
produces. When he gets the opportunity, he produces.
He went in there and he made sure somebody that everybody hyped up didn't get cut touches.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Dameon Pierce. I didn't say.
And you thought maybe, dude. Think about it. People in Dynasty, and I know there might be somebody watching this right now that got all excited the second Singletary was gone. And they were like, "Oh yes, dude, yes."
Pierce has a life.
Pierce has life, and then all of a sudden, Mixon goes from being, "Oh, he's cut. Wait, no, he's not cut, and he's being traded."
Yep.
Because another team contacted them and said, "You do not release him. We do not want to contend for him in free agency."
No,
you fucking no.
We'll make this deal now. I'm sure he won't disagree. He'll agree to come here. What's up, Sunshine?
You talking to me?
Nope, but I probably should have been.
I know. You're talking. It's funny.
What's the next star?
All right. So the next topic, we'll go right into it. It's going to be where Stephon Diggs came from this year. Obviously, came from Minnesota originally, but we're going to talk about Buffalo. The Buffalo wide receiving core right now looks rough, and it's causing a lot of people to actually move Josh Allen down their board a little bit. He went from the unanimous number 1 to, listen, I think he's still technically in, like, if you go to like Fantasy Pros and stuff like that, he might be the number 1, but like a lot of people drafting are not taking him number 1. I was 108 in a super flex startup. He was still there at like 106.
That's crazy. Granted, that's stupid, is what it is. Because he scored 15 rushing touchdowns last year. How are you gonna? It doesn't matter who he has for wide receiver.
That being said, 3 wide receivers or 3 QB went, and then 2 wide receiver because 2 of the people are anti QB in the first round guys, like Giants fan and somebody else. They grabbed CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. So that just is what it is. But 3 people grabbed quarterback, and it was Stroud, Mahomes, and Hurts. Stroud went 101.
This is a free league?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not in a free money league. No, that wouldn't happen. Right. But everybody likes to experiment a little in the free leagues.
In the free leagues, yeah. I was gonna say because every league I've drafted like that was a money league so far, which is only 2, but Josh Allen about 101. They were both super
I don't understand what's so down on him. I just don't get it.
They're gonna do something. They're not gonna leave him high and dry, and if they do, he's just gonna run more, so it's okay.
Yeah,
he had 15 touchdowns last year. Okay, what?
I was actually going to say that
15 rushing touchdowns.
I was going to say I expect him to run more. I expect them to draft a wide receiver. I hope the wide receiver works out. This might be. Listen, when the Vikings got Justin Jefferson, there was a lot of people. People want to pretend, and people want to act like they always believed in him, that they always knew, that I just knew. That is not true. Because when he first came out, people were shitting on him, saying he was nothing but a slot wide receiver, and that he wasn't that good, and that like if you're wasting your rookie pick if you grab him. And in reality, it's like, no, dude, he was a slot wide receiver because that team was stacked. And he can do all the stuff, but they were like, hey, you're the best slot wide receiver out of all these guys. These guys are outside only. You're everything. You go in the middle. That's what it is.
It's funny.
I myself, I didn't crap on him or anything, but I definitely took other people over him in a lot of leagues where I look back and say, wow, I own him in a lot of leagues, but I could have owned him in so many more if I'm in so many leagues that I tend to differentiate so I can have as many different shares of different players as I can. When in reality, I should just stick to my guns because there's been some players I'm really right on and I would have them in like all leagues. But then I think about times like Trey Sermon where I picked somebody and I was so sure and I picked him in a ton of leagues and he was nothing. So it's just like, But
yeah, I like Monty. I picked Monty Ball, I think, in like the top 3 of my rookie draft one year, and that was not good because he didn't do anything.
Think of all the people that took Zay Jones, and then he wasn't good for years and years and years and years, and then they probably dropped him. 100% they dropped him. And then when he finally emerges and it was decent in the Raiders, it was like, oh, he's got some life. And then when he was on Jacksonville and he was actually good, it was like, oh, man, like. Is that okay if I turn one off?
But yeah. I don't know. I had a thought, but it left my brain.
It's okay. I like Josh Allen. I do like grabbing a little bit of Curtis Samuel late, and I know it's like a fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times, 4 times, 5 times.
It's not really fooling you though, because he's always done good no matter where he's been.
But he always gets hurt.
He's always hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. But now you're getting him so late because people aren't even realizing he was there. And I'm talking even Dynasty startups. I'm grabbing him in 18 to 22nd round, and people are just not seeing him there and not caring because he's way down the list. And I might be single-handedly raising his ADP because I've taken him so many times. But
that's what I felt. That's what I felt like I was doing with Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, same.
But no, he's way down there. I'm like, I'm okay. I'll keep taking him in like the 13th round.
Listen, there's a world where they know something we don't. They get a wide receiver who either doesn't pan out or maybe they don't even go for wide receiver, and we get a year of Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins, and
that's what it was. I couldn't remember who the third one was.
Oh, and Dalton Kincaid as well. We got to remember that Dalton Kincaid is going to play like a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And we also can't forget, if they don't replenish the wide receivers well enough, there's a world where they play a lot of 2 tight end sets, and then Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid both get like decent work. Like Kincaid will get more, but
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure James Cook's going to work in this some way too. You know,
he has to. I'm surprised they don't have another running back though.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, I don't think they have. No, they do have. They have like 11 picks in this draft, don't they? So they can address anything they want to.
Like, we like Cook, but there's a world where one of the decent running backs falls to them, and it's like one of their picks, and they're just like, sick, we have a bunch of picks. Let's just grab another.
I need to know this.
Well, no, right?
I just want to know how many they have.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with
I'm not
Allen.
looking for it. He's still the QB1, and I ain't taking him off.
What's that? Sorry.
To it. I said he's the QB1, and I'm not pulling him off it.
Yeah, I agree. He's the QB1. I think he'll be fine, and I do think that the Bills will draft a running back, a wide receiver rather. And I really do hope that it's the right one. I hope it's one that, like, if they get the right one, like one that everybody really likes, he's gonna end up being like the 104 or like the 105 or something. Because no matter what, it'll be in a 1 QB league. It's gonna be Harrison with some people taking Neighbors if he has a better landing spot, but for the most part, it'll be Harrison, and then it'll be Neighbors, and then it'll be Rome, and then if one of the next wide receiver of the next tier that goes to Buffalo, whether it's Ed and I or they're going to get a major boost, whether you believe in them or not. They're going to get Josh Allen as a quarterback, and they're going to go early.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But yeah, Bill's got quite a few picks they can address. Any needs they need.
I'm thinking they're gonna. I mean, let's be real. There's a world where they grab two. They have, like you said, they have a lot of picks. There's a world where they grab two wide receivers. They hope one pans out, and maybe even both of them pan out.
Yep.
I think their first is a wide receiver, but I could see them taking a 2, 3, or 4th round as well.
Oh yeah, I could see them definitely. They have 28.
Excuse me. Yeah, I would definitely see them doing that. I would hope they're going to do that. I almost want to manifest that into the the world. They don't need another tight end. They need to chill. They honestly,
For real.
Excuse me. Honestly, it's one of those things where at the time I was like, man, they shouldn't have even done that when they grabbed Kincaid, but then Kincaid did so well that I'm like, okay, that was actually a good move. But like now they have 2 tight ends. They need wide receivers. Like plural.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely take multiple receivers in this draft, I think.
I want them
some corners probably too.
Yeah.
And safeties.
I really want them to use their first and one of their seconds on a wide receiver. That'd be nice. But we'll see.
So, but yes, Josh Allen is still the man, regardless of what anybody says.
Josh Allen's still the man. One of those guys might emerge, and maybe one of those guys doesn't. Maybe it's 1 week it's Khalil Shakir, 1 week it's Curtis Samuel, 1 week maybe they're all solid, but none of them are superstars. They're like all like wide receiver 27, wide receiver 32, wide receiver, and like he has like 3 guys that are all in like the top 35, but they're not like high up. We don't know. Maybe Dalton Kincaid is so good this year that it's like, oh, that's his wide receiver 1.
Could be. Maybe that's what they're thinking. And that's why they're not so concerned about it.
I mean, tight end is such a barren wasteland that I would love to will this into existence. I would love a world where Kincaid is used like a wide receiver, but Dawson Knox is still used like a tight end like he was. And Dawson Knox ends up being like good for a good fantasy tight end to the point where both Bills tight ends are fantasy viable options like every week. I would just love that because then, you know what I mean? You remember when the Falcons last year had a couple weeks where Pitts and Smith both did well in the same week?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Because there's just no tight end, so I'd like to get some more depth in there.
Yeah, Brock Wright, baby.
Will it into the existence. All right, well, we can move on to. Oh, we only have 2 more stars, and we got another half hour.
That's all right.
This might be a shorter one today.
Cool. I mean,
it won't be a minute.
Not cool, but I mean, it's nice.
We know it won't be an hour 12 or an hour 15 or 20 or anything like that.
That's for sure.
But soon enough, we'll have busy episodes. We're really
I
exiting
I can't wait to have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, the draft will happen. We'll have a lot to talk about. Then it'll cool down for a little bit. Then it'll heat back up when everybody's in training camp, and then it's off to the races pretty much. Mini camp will be cool and everything, but really when it gets to be where we have the heavy news is, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, like we're definitely going to start popping in, like even if it's not both of us, it'll be one of us every once in a while, just pop in and be like, hey, this big thing just happened. Here's my reaction to it. Don't worry, we're going to talk about it on the next show, this and that, because people really were messaging me on Sleeper like, hey, how come the
cover the Diggs
episode had anything to do with Diggs? That was like the biggest news ever. And I'm just like, hey, it just didn't work out. We had 2 episodes banked. It is, we're trying to get content out here for you guys. So that's the double-edged sword of that, is that sometimes you plan ahead and you record episodes and new news comes out and it makes some of the, we got lucky. At least nothing we said in our pod was made irrelevant with Diggs. Like, at least we didn't have like a whole show based around Nico Collins and Tank Dell where we're like, this is what we're talking about. It's gonna be so good this year, and then all of a sudden that news. So at least it didn't affect us like that.
That would suck.
I'm actually gonna hit this. Throw that at the bottom of the screen for everybody. Not gonna be subtle about it. Boom.
What's the next one? What are we talking about now?
So the next one, I just wanted to throw that up though. Where did I put it? There.
Is this CD? Is that what this is?
All right, so we have a combination of this. We have, which one do you want to talk about first? So we have, our next star is about 2 wide receivers.
Both not showing up to voluntary workouts for their teams.
Yes.
And we're going to start with CD Lamb, I think, because he's looking for a big deal. So
he's looking for a big deal.
And I want to say Jefferson's looking more of who the fuck is my quarterback.
I think it's a
rather than it's both, but I'm sure like the money's going to be different if he doesn't get a quarterback.
No. Well, yeah. I was about to say. I think it's one of those things where Jefferson wants to get paid a ton, but at the same time, he would take a little less if they were like, hey, at least you have a quarterback, or like, hey, we're going to get you to a team that wants to pay you X amount and give you a quarterback. I don't know what the Vikings' plans are. I don't know if some players just play games and they decide they don't want to go to the voluntary stuff. They're at this point, they're grown men, but I know they're kids because they're still in their early 20s, but they are like grown men. So at the same time,
they're veterans in the league now too. So it's not like they're rookies anymore.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They're veterans. They don't care about stupid stuff that's optional. And they're not trying to impress anybody. They're not trying to, like, when you get Jefferson and he's considered the best at a point, you don't care if they're like, oh, I really want the team to be impressed that I showed up for the voluntary whatever. It's like, no, he's like, I know I'm the man.
That's just another way I can get hurt. That's just another way I can get hurt showing up.
Yep. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I know there's a lot of smoke about, it might be fire, but there's a lot of smoke about the Vikings trading up on purpose to get or for the purpose of getting JJ McCarthy. And I just don't know how I feel about that, but they really want him. And then I've also seen rumblings today saying that Washington really likes JJ, and there's a world where they just shock everybody and take him at 2.
Well, that'd be nuts. But I also seen him mock to the Patriots. He was there for 2 days.
Yeah. Do you remember a couple years ago how Zach Wilson was expected to go pretty high, but he wasn't expected to go as high as he went. And then all of a sudden he went to that one pro day, threw like a couple really good throws, and all of a sudden he got rocketed to number 2. I feel like that's happening to JJ McCarthy, but the only difference is JJ McCarthy, was Harbaugh and stuff and like won more than Zach Wilson did at just BYU, but it's still the point of like this guy wasn't the number 2, and then we're coming up to the draft, and now magically this guy's projected to possibly be the number 2.
Yep, crazy stuff happens once the draft gets close.
But do you agree with it?
I mean, it is what it is. What are we gonna do? I can't disagree with it. You know, these guys are all out to get their money and whatever.
Oh, man. It's tough. It's tough because, like, I'm sure a lot of guys had to deal with this, but, like, when you first start playing, like, obviously a lot of people watch football before they played fantasy, but for me, I started playing fantasy. That made me get into football. And it's just like, you take it for granted franchise quarterbacks, because like when I first got in, there was so many franchise quarterbacks that had been around for years, or you know, this and that, and every once in a while not every once in a while, but like a couple a year would come out and only 1 or 2 would get a job for the quarterbacks. And now it feel like every team needs a new quarterback every couple of years. They either doesn't work out or their guy just retired.
Yep, it's usually like a 3-year window. You get to prove yourself, and you can't. You're gone.
Yeah, they're not patient. They're not patient with people at all anymore. Like they'll draft somebody like in the first round, and then they'll have like an okay year, and they'll be like, "Oh, cool," and then they'll have like 1 or 2 bad years after that, and they're like, "Oh, you're out. Get the fuck out of here."
Mac Jones had an awesome rookie year.
Yeah.
Second year sucked. Third year even worse. See you later.
Yep. He was the one I was thinking of. It's funny you described that. That was the exact example I was thinking of when I described that. I was like, first round was good. Or first year.
He was in the rookie of the year conversation for a while till the end of the season when he fell apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, now he's backing up Trevor Lawrence, who was taken first in the same draft.
Trevor Lawrence, who's also fighting for I mean, he's not fighting for anything, but
he's not fighting for it. But yeah, if he sucks this year, I mean, he's probably on the hot seat too.
Yes.
You know, because that would be like back-to-back awful years.
Is this his 4th year?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So, like, they're probably going to decide.
Well, so it was his rookie year. He did shit, which they pretty much gave him a wash because of
Urban Meyer.
Yeah. And then the second year he did good, and then last year he kind of did He wasn't bad, but he wasn't good either. He was mediocre.
Yeah, everybody expected him to level up, and then people picked him higher, especially in Dynasty. People like really picked him higher.
Yeah, they definitely pushed him way up into he'd like the top 6 QBs and Superflex. He was going in like the middle of the first. Now he's going in like in the end of the second. You know,
yeah, Superflex, yeah,
mid-second.
Yeah, people are starting to take wide receivers and some of the top running backs over him in a super flex, and that says a lot. But that being said, some people just don't believe in certain people. I told you earlier about how I'm in a super flex league where, well, technically I said super flex, but technically it's a 0 QB two super flex league. It's just experimental. And I got Kyler Murray toward the end of the 3rd round, because people in that league, just for whatever reason, didn't want him. And I gladly took him. 3rd round?
Absolutely. I wouldn't let it. I was hoping I would get him like coming back to me when I was at like 107 or something.
Yeah, and you're hoping for him in the 2nd. Yeah, for sure. To pair him up.
No way. He didn't even come close. He didn't even get out of the 1st.
I know. And in this league, I got Jamar Chase in the 1st and Bijan Robinson in the 2nd, and him in the 3rd. And not only that, but I want you to think about this. I'm the 103 rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact Giants fan is taking Caleb because he's already he knows that's the pick. It's super flex. He's the 101 startup. It's just the pick. And then number 2 is Ray, I'm looking at the quarterbacks he drafted, and he went late on quarterbacks. They're all older. So that tells me he probably wants to take whoever the, best quarterback next is. And me at 3, I grabbed Kyler. I grabbed Kirk Cousins. I don't really care at this point. I'm going to grab, if the Cardinals grab a wide receiver, I want to grab whoever they grabbed and have that stack, because I also have the London Kirk stack as well. I'm going to go double.
And that's what I think is baked into Kyler's rise too, is that he's getting a top wide receiver added to his.
Assuming they don't trade back.
Even if they trade back, I mean, what are they going to trade back to 11, where they might be able to get a Dunze, and they're going to probably get another pick on top
You
of
think they
it.
trade back to 11?
Yeah, that's what I think. If anybody's trading with anybody, it's Minnesota, because Denver has nothing. Because they traded for Russ, they still have nothing from that deal.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right.
They just don't have the pieces when Minnesota has all the pieces to trade with whoever they want to. I mean, if the Bears really wanted to come off, I mean, now they're kind of stuck doing it. But if they wanted to come off of fucking Caleb, they could easily trade for the number 1 pick.
Can I tell you something really funny? What about the 2 teams that want to trade up for quarterback?
Like the Giants?
Giants don't want to trade up for quarterback.
Yes, they do. Dude, they're taking a look at every quarterback in this draft. They've come in for visits.
They're doing it just in case they fall. You know what else could happen, though?
I don't know.
1, Caleb. 2, probably.
I think it's going to be Daniels. I think Daniels is more fit for Kingsbury's offense than Drake May.
Yeah, I think so too. So probably him. And then 3, do you think it'll be either JJ or May, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's May. He's okay, but he just reminds me of fucking Mac, and I don't want it.
Okay.
Everything they're saying about JJ is what they said about Mac, and I hate it.
System quarterback and a really run heavy, and yeah.
Granted, that's what the Pats want to do, because they don't have any fucking wide receivers to throw the ball. But I can't. I don't want him. I'd rather have May. I'd rather have that Josh Allen type than a JJ McCarthy type.
Also, so that'll happen. So say it's May, and then number 4, say the Cardinals trade back, and they're like, we want to get the most we can out of this pick. They trade back. It's with the Vikings. The Vikings take JJ. Now we're at 5. Now, what if the Chargers take O-line, like they've been rumored to do?
Okay.
Who are the Giants taking? Marvin fucking Harrison. There's a world where the Giants get Marvin Harrison, and you realize now that I've listed that out that it's actually possible.
Yeah, no, but it's not though, because who's Arizona taking?
They're trading back, or they're trading, and Vikings are taking JJ.
Oh, with Vikings, okay.
Yes.
Right, yeah. All right.
And then the Chargers either traded back or took O-line. Now, that being said, yes, there's a chance that they see Marvin Harrison there, and they're like, hey, Herbert, new toy.
We're taking him.
And then Neighbors goes to the Giants, and I'm still happy because that's what everybody thought was going to happen.
They're going to get their wide receiver if they sit there and just do nothing. No matter what. Because there's 3 top wide receivers, and they're all relatively close, so they're going to get their receiver if that's who they really want.
My whole thing is, in the past, we've talked about them getting Rome. We've talked about them getting Neighbors. We have not talked about the realistic possibility that they actually could get Marvin Harrison. That's all I wanted to mention.
Unless some Patriots say fuck it and take them.
They're not. You're trying to will that into existence, and I won't allow that to stand.
Of course you won't, because you're a Giants fan. You want to will that into existence.
Not only am I a Giants fan, but I'm also not a Patriots fan, like above all else. If there's one team I don't want to do well for the next 35 years, it's the Patriots. You had your Super Bowls. You had your fun. You don't get any more.
Talk about jealous. Yeah.
I'm not jealous because you know what? You got 2 more. If not for
That's jealousy.
If not for
your true colors are showing, Tomcat. You jealous?
Hey! Who am I?
Haterade. You look like me.
Eli. I love Eli so much, dude. And I'm so glad that he prevented Tom Brady from having 2 more Super Bowls. I mean, I'm so fucking happy, dude. Because you know what makes me happy? The fact that, okay, do you know how unbearable the Patriots fans would be if they could brag that Tom Brady had an undefeated season? Do you know how unbearable the Patriots fans would be if they could brag that they had a Randy Moss perfect season with Tom Brady? And Eli Manning made sure that didn't happen. He made sure that didn't happen, baby.
Twice. I mean, the undefeated season show, but there's all the heartbreak Eli Manning has caused me. I hope he has a bad retirement. Still riding the coattails of his brother.
Hey, man. Just letting you know.
Yeah. Keep them shades on.
I will.
They fit you.
I will.
Shady cat.
We do have one more. We have about 13 minutes left. So I'd say about 10 minutes and then 3 minutes are wrapping up. And we'll talk about the visits. If you want to take control of that segment.
Yeah, I'll jump right all over this. All right. I mean, I'm not going to get into the defensive visits because that's kind of pointless. So, we'll go for some news. Joe Burrow's recovery from his wrist surgery is going well.
Yeah.
We already went over CD Lamb not being there for voluntary workouts, which is they got to get him inked, I think, before they get Dak done. There's Marshawn Nealon guys all over the place, but he's a defensive end. Ooh, that was big news we didn't mention today because it's defense, but DeForest Buckner got a 2-year deal.
Oh, yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
The Kansas City Chiefs are hosting Jonathan Brooks, one of the top running back prospects.
Yeah, actually, I actually just put that news at the bottom of the screen.
And I know the more Chiefs news, Riche Rice is supposedly expected to remotely participate in phase 1 of the team's voluntary offseason program. So he will be involved. You just can't be there.
He's going to StreamYard in?
That's it. He's going to StreamYard in.
Yeah, we're StreamYard podcast here. We support StreamYard. We are not going to mention crappy other products that don't work as well.
And the Patriots, well, it's not on this, but they hosted J.J. McCarthy for 2 days. And Michael Penix is also coming in for a top 30 visit Tuesday.
How do you feel about that?
I love it because that just means they might trade back, and that makes me happy.
Why would they trade back?
Huh?
I'm just kidding.
Why? Because that team's
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
And if they trade back with Minnesota, they're getting 2 firsts, and I'll take that all day.
Yeah, of course.
Malachi Corley is visiting the Saints, which I did a little mock draft before I got on the show, just messing around, and I took him to the Saints. Just seems like a good fit for them right there. Jaden Daniels visiting the New York Giants.
I don't think they're going to actually take a quarterback. I think they're doing their due diligence because if they don't want to be just sitting on the board and one of these quarterbacks falls into their lap and doesn't get picked, and then all of a sudden they're just like, wait, what are we doing? Like, should we take this guy or not?
Or trade back. You just like posture that you want one. So
well, yeah,
you get more value.
And you visit with them because what if you could trade back, but what if you decide you actually like them a lot and you're just like, hey, we actually like this guy better than Daniel Jones? Like,
I mean, they're probably going to like every guy in this draft if they fall better than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, but I think they're going to ride out Daniel Jones. I'm actually just hoping they bolster up stuff around Daniel Jones, give him one more chance, and then if not, the next year they cut him loose, get a quarterback in the next draft.
Well, and we'll cover that too because Daniel Jones is making progress in his ACL recovery.
Yep.
And plans to be ready for training camp.
Yeah. We're gonna hope that's true, but at the same time, we've seen a million times a player says they're gonna be back, but like they really don't know. Like they're not a doctor. They don't know if they're actually gonna be back. I could, if I sprain my ankle, I could say I'm gonna be back in a week. I don't know if I'm actually gonna be back in a week.
Yeah, it's true. Jordan Travis, one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Yes.
In this draft. But it's like he's my favorite because I'm an FSU fan. But
he's gonna be a backup.
Right. He's gonna be a backup, and he's gonna sit behind Rodgers for another year, or maybe two, but hopefully just one. And the kid's got a lot of talent. So
what do you mean Rodgers?
I'm talking about the Jets.
Oh, I didn't hear you say you think the Jets are gonna take him.
Well, he's in for a visit, Jordan Travis.
Oh, for sure. But I was sure other teams had looked at him too.
Oh, I'm sure. But I mean, I don't think he's going anywhere in like, the top. He'll probably go in like the 4th or 5th round,
Yeah, that's smart though.
But just bringing him in because he did fracture and dislocate his left ankle. So, I mean, he's going to be recovering. So,
yeah.
And they're also bringing in Brock Bowers, who I've seen mocked to the Jets a zillion times.
Yeah, and I've heard multiple sources saying how like the Jets haven't drafted a good tight end in forever. They never have good luck. They just try to go mid or late in the draft for tight end most of the time. And when they do go early, it just isn't even that good. They have like Chris Herndon and guys like that where everybody expects for a year or two they're going to do well, and they end up just getting shipped off or cut. So that'd be nice. Yeah. If Rodgers is back this year and Bowers went there, it might be. I don't want to say another Laporta because I don't know if we're going to get another Laporta. But like,
well, my thing is hoping they take Bowers too, so they don't take a freaking wide receiver.
Yeah,
an early wide receiver to
we're
kill.
Still both pissed about that one mock, thinking that they're going to trade up for Marvin Harrison. Just being like, why are you wasting Marvin Harrison there? Do not do that. We have Garrett Wilson already. We already have Breece Hall there. We're like, we got enough there, dude. Let's not put too many. Brock Bowers is a totally different position. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I can deal with that. I can deal with targets going away, but taking another guy, making Wilson a wide receiver too, does not make me happy.
I think it makes him a wide receiver too. I think it makes a 1A, 1B where we're all pissed off. Where Marvin Harrison doesn't.
That's what I mean. But like, I think Harrison is the better wide receiver.
But there's a world where it doesn't matter because
Garrett
Wilson's good enough to demand targets, and
that's just something I didn't want to deal with ever. So I just hope that never happens in any kind of way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I'm just saying I could see a world where the wide receiver one of the team this week was Harrison. Oh, next week it was Wilson. Oh, it was Harrison this week. Oh, they both had a good week. Oh, we both didn't do that well because we had to rely. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah. All right. Well, next on the docket.
So it's like I don't really want to. I don't want to rely on like hope that there's some crazy high passing game where both guys are relevant, and then it's like that takes away from Breece, who also catches.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
All right, so we'll just hit this quick. We'll probably dig into this more in another episode, the next episode probably. But Devontae Smith agreed to a 3-year, $75 million contract extension with $51 million guaranteed, according to Ian Rappaport.
God damn it, that was one of our stars in the next one.
Yeah, but we'll dig into what it means.
Oh, but there's nothing to dig into. You just said it.
There is more to dig into.
No,
there's more to dig into.
We can't.
Yeah, what does this mean for A.J. Brown? What does this mean for everybody else in the offense? Does this mean they're going to throw the ball more? This we can go on and on. All right, Seahawks. They signed Laken Tomlinson, guard, and they're also bringing in Malachi Corley for a visit as well.
Okay.
So Malachi Corley getting some love in these top 30 visits.
Absolutely. I'm hoping Geno can come. I don't think he's going to do what he did the 1 year, but I do think there's a chance he could have a better year than he did last year.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean,
even if all his weapons can't all be good every week, he should be able to be good with that many good weapons. But
Absolutely, and they added Saquon.
So. Yep.
But Seahawks are so loaded though at wide receiver. I don't know what they would bring this guy in for, but maybe I don't know.
Because
Maybe
they think they're playing Madden. Because they think they're playing Madden, and they think Lockett's going to be gone in a year or two, and they think they need to have a completely stocked wide receiver room every year.
Maybe. Well, the offense is changing too, so maybe they lean more towards the pass.
That's fair. That sucks for all the people who have Walker and Charbonnet.
Yeah, for real.
But
that's it for the news.
Time to wind down.
Let me see if I'm on the clock in any leagues while we're just sitting here. That 14-team league, though, man, thing's rolling, flying through this.
Go. All right, guys, if you want to follow us, we are at 5-Star Dynasty Pod on X, formerly known as Twitter. That one, I believe, I don't know if it was long or if it was somebody else took the name and never actually did anything with it or something like that. I don't remember what it was. It was some reason have that one, but everything else is going to be at 5-Star Dynasty Podcast. Starting nasty, baby.
Starting nasty.
It was not intended to. I can't unsee it now that I see it.
JJ McCarthy is not starting nasty.
Starting nasty. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. You know, we're obviously going to be recording another episode here, so we're going to get into some other stars. As time passes by, we're getting so much closer to the draft. It is already 15th. I think this is the first episode I've actually mentioned the date. I haven't mentioned the date.
Yeah, we don't. We should mention the date so people don't look at us like we're crazy when we don't mention something important.
Yeah. I did, to be fair, in the last one when I uploaded it in the description, I wrote that we were late. I don't know, like, hey, this is pre-recorded, but I also try to mention it in a couple episodes so that people know. So they're like, hey, let's give them some slack. They did mention that they record 2 at a time on the same day. It's just the way our schedules match up. It's better than we just decided we want to give you guys as much content as we can, and eventually we'll have more days we can record, but right now we have the 1 day, so it's just we get 2 in and we do our best. We've always still waited all the way till tax day for taxes, so I will be recording a second podcast immediately after tax, but it shouldn't take very long.
NBA playoffs are starting. Yeah,
you're excited about that. That's pretty cool. I'm excited about the draft. As fun as it is, startup drafts and all that. It's really fun when the rookie drafts start popping up. There's something about
I can't wait.
The sheer amount of leagues we're in, and having that many rookie drafts all starting at the same time.
Just go boom. You're on the clock like every 2 seconds. It's awesome.
Yeah, I wake up at like 6:37 in the morning and just start them. We have no time limit. Everybody just picks when they can. It all start. Can't wait. Anybody listening, if you want to hit me up, I'm sure I have some orphans. I'm sure I'm gonna have some teams that I need to fill from the last second. I'm sure I have some teams that or some leagues where somebody just disappears. I thought they were back and they're just not, and just get a hold of me. So we'll figure this out. But what matters the most.
Yes, you need to play Dynasty. It's the only way to play. Absolutely. Year-round fantasy football. Can't get any better than that.
Yeah, and we like playing redraft too. Dynasty is our favorite, but we do like redraft too. We will eventually get, a redraft show going, and look for that. Look for any other little projects we got going. I actually have a couple projects cooking that I think that might be interested in that are non-football related, but I'll have to pitch them. See if we can get something else going. Maybe a clip show making fun of some stuff from the internet, stuff like that.
And I know I keep saying it, but I am going to hop on by myself and do a NFL mock draft, a whole 7 rounds. Hopefully, I get to it this weekend.
Absolutely.
If anybody wants to hop on I'll send the link out to anybody who's interested. We'll just, play
Yep.
play around a little bit.
Absolutely. And in the end, it doesn't even matter. I'm just kidding. No, keep playing Dynasty, guys. Keep playing Dynasty.